My name is Namdi, and I want to tell you something that happened a few years ago in our village, Iroko, a place tucked deep inside the heart of Nigeria. It's not a story that people talk about much, but it is one that changed many lives, especially the life of a young woman named Amara. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. Iroko village is the kind of place where everyone knows your name, your family, and sometimes your secrets. The days are slow and steady. The sun rises golden behind the baobab trees, and the people wake to the rooster's call. We live simply, yam farms, cassava fields, and the market every Thursday where traders come from far and near. Amara was a girl from a humble family, but she was known for her kindness. She lived with her mother and little brother in a small mud brick house with a thatched roof. Every morning before the sun was high, she'd be at the river, fetching water in her large calabash. It'd be a big gourd used by many of us for carrying water or storing grains. Amara's calabash was special to her. It was hand-painted with bright colors by her late father before he passed. One particular morning, something strange happened. As Amara reached the river bank, she noticed her calabash was missing. She searched the sandy shore again and again, but no sign. It was as if the calabash had vanished into thin air. Without her calabash, Amara couldn't fetch water for her family. You see, water is life in Iroko. No water means no cooking, no drinking, no washing. She told her mother, who frowned but encouraged her to keep looking. As the day went on, whispers began in the village. Some said a spirit had taken the calabash. Others thought a thief had come under cover of dawn. But Amara did not believe in spirits. Not like that. She believed in people. By midday, a stranger appeared at the village square. He was a tall man with skin like polished ebony and eyes that seemed to hold the sky itself. His clothes were worn but clean, and he carried a long walking stick carved with strange symbols. He said his name was Obi. Obi told the villagers he was traveling to find a lost treasure, a treasure not of gold or jewels, but one that healed broken hearts and helped those who had lost their way. The elders were skeptical, but Amara was curious. She felt something in his words, like a gentle wind that whispered hope. Over the next days, Obi stayed near the village, helping people with small acts of kindness, repairing fences, teaching children songs, and listening to the elders' stories. Slowly, he became part of the village rhythm. One evening, under the red glow of the setting sun, Amara approached Obi. She told him about her lost calabash and how it was essential for her family's survival. Obi listened carefully, nodding with a calm smile. "I can help you find it," he said softly, "but first you must trust me." The village watched as Amara and Obi set off at dawn, walking beyond the familiar paths into the dense forest where no one dared to go alone. They talked about life, about the river, about the dreams of the village children who wanted to see the world beyond Iroko. After several hours, Obi stopped by a giant Iroko tree, old and wide, roots twisting like the stories of our ancestors. There, half hidden under dry leaves, lay the calabash, scratched but whole. Amara's eyes filled with tears. "How did you know where to look?" she asked. Obi smiled. "Sometimes what is lost is not far. Sometimes it hides where we least expect. But the greatest treasure is not the calabash, but the journey we take to find it, and the people we meet along the way." Amara thanked Obi, her heart lighter than it had been in weeks. When they returned to Iroko, the village celebrated their return with songs and dance. Obi told stories of faraway lands, but his heart stayed with us. Before he left, Obi gave Amara a small carved wooden bird, a symbol of freedom and hope. Whenever you feel lost, remember this bird, and know that kindness will always find its way. Years later, Amara became a healer in the village, known for her wisdom and gentle spirit. She taught the children that even in hardship, kindness and courage can light the darkest paths. And as for Obi, no one saw him again, but some say the spirit of the forest still watches over Iroko, reminding us all to care for one another and to never give up hope. After Obi left Iroko, the village slowly returned to its usual rhythm. But for Amara, things were never quite the same. The small carved bird he gave her hung above the door of her family's hut. catching the sunlight each morning, reminding her of the stranger's words. Life in the village was not easy. The rainy season was approaching, and with it came the endless mud, the swollen river, and the worry that the crops might fail. Amara's family, like many others, depended on the yam harvest. Every year, before the first rains, the entire village gathered for the yam festival, a time to thank the earth for its bounty and ask the ancestors for protection. That year, Amara was chosen to lead the festival's opening prayer. It was an honor usually reserved for the elders, but because of her kindness and growing reputation, the village chief believed she could speak for the people. On the morning of the festival, dressed in a wrapper made from hand-woven cloth dyed in bright indigo, Amara stood before the village square, a carved bird tied to her waist. The elders sat around the fire, their faces serious but hopeful. Children gathered, curious and excited. She began, "Great ancestors, spirits of the earth and sky, we thank you for this harvest and for the life you give us. We ask for your blessing on our homes, our families, and our hearts. May the river continue to flow, and may kindness guide our paths." As she spoke, a hush fell over the crowd. Even the birds seemed to listen. The chief nodded in approval. After the prayer, the dancing began. Men and women drummed in circles, their feet pounding rhythms older than memory. Children twirled and laughed, their voices mixing with the music. Amara's little brother, Kola, ran up to her, holding a handful of freshly picked wildflowers. "Look, Amara, I found these for you." She smiled, taking the flowers and tucking them behind her ear. "Come with me. You can stay in the village." Tunde looked around nervously. "I don't have anywhere else to go." The next day, Tunde stayed with Amara's family. The village welcomed him cautiously but with warmth. He learned quickly, helping in the fields, fetching water, and listening to the elders' stories. One evening, while the village gathered to share food and tales, Tunde spoke quietly to Amara. "I came from far away. My village was taken by fire, and I ran into the forest to escape." Amara nodded. "You are safe now." As Tunde's story spread, the villagers remembered their own struggles, droughts, sickness, and loss. They saw in Tunde a symbol of resilience, much like Amara's own journey. Then, one day, a messenger arrived from a nearby town. He brought news that Obi, the stranger who had helped Amara find her calabash, was known to be a healer traveling across the land, helping villages and bringing peace. The villagers were amazed. Obi was not just a wanderer, but someone chosen to carry hope. Amara felt a deep gratitude. She realized that Obi's kindness had not only restored her calabash, but had planted a seed of compassion in the village. And through Tunde, that seed was growing. Years passed. Tunde grew strong and wise under Amara's guidance, and Iroko thrived. The carved bird remained a symbol, a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can light the way through the darkest times. And so, this is how a lost calabash led to a village being touched by hope, a stranger who changed lives, and a boy who found a new home.